let me get you up to date with Kamino points. Now, Kamino Finance, I'm very bullish on. I've been bullish on them for quite some time. However, they've just introduced Kamino points. And of course, this relates to a token airdrop or token kind of genesis event, which is happening. So we'll quickly go through the tweet, and then I'll just show you quickly around the platform, and then tell you some things that I'm doing to try and get more points. So Kamino Points is live. Fantastic. It's the next chapter of Kamino Finance, and using any product on Kamino earns points. So there are defaults here, and there's also launch boosts. So as an example, Sol, USDC, USDT, and USDH. This is Hubble's stablecoin. Hubble's kind of like the parent company behind Kamino, I guess. 3 points per day per dollar. And then if you go and borrow these, it's 5 points per dollar per day. These vault boosts will follow soon. So this is a launch boost, I guess, and vault boosts are coming. Vaults being like liquidity vaults, like a Sol USDC pair as an example. All boosts count for multiplier and long short, enabling far more points per dollar. Here is the full overview. We'll have a look at that in a second. We'll just continue on through this tweet. So it's not a static program. It's supposed to be fully dynamic. My understanding with this is the fact that if they want more liquidity into a certain token or a certain area or more lending to happen, then they can incentivize it. And this is a good thing because it shouldn't cost you 10% to go and borrow USDC. You want to keep that a nice low amount. Otherwise, what you'll see if you go to Aave on an EVM, it might be 3% or 4%. So there's a huge amount of inefficiency there. So you want that massive amount of USDC there, and it needs to be utilized in not such a crazy way so that it remains kind of stable, because there will be a period when things will run up crazy and people will be borrowing USDC and it will run up over 10%, but you don't want that quite so early on in the cycle, in my opinion. You could even get a boost for using other Solana ecosystem products or holding certain NFTs. First partner points initiative is coming soon with Dupe. We'll have to see how that plays out, exactly what that is. Why points? Well, this is kind of an easy thing to understand, but it's just, this is the next phase for Kamino's growth. And with a point system, you can kind of incentivize the early people as well as the people that have got a little bit later. And I guess it gives you time to work out the tokenomics while still bringing in liquidity. They have all their reasons there, but I've kind of given my summary of what, they are. OGs, for people that got in there nice and early, they got extra points. So all positions from the launch of Kamino in August 2022 up to Kamino Lend Beta, October 20th, 2023, have been awarded 2x points per day for their deposits over that 400-day period. The first time that I used Kamino Finance, I believe, was January or February 2023. So in the first few months, I didn't know that it existed, and then I used it, and I've used it in different wallets and whatnot. I actually don't have too many points yet. Next tweet here. So Kamino points will run concurrently with the Kamino token distribution, KMNO. So after the Genesis airdrop, Season 2 points will kick off, which will lead to the next round of drops. Each new season, users will receive a permanent bonus for their usage in the previous season. These bonuses will stack across seasons, encouraging long-term protocol usage. This is the smartest thing that I think I've seen, because what generally is going to happen is you'll move your funds if you're an airdrop farmer, and there are hundreds of thousands. We're talking hundreds of thousands of people are airdrop farmers. They're not necessarily just on Solana, they'll be on other chains as well. But they'll go from one dApp to another, to another, to another. Whereas Kamino is encouraging people to stick around. This means that loyal users of the protocol over time can receive an outsized portion of Kamino tokens as the seasons progress. Now they have a Discord, however, they also have a Telegram. Just be aware, as soon as you get into this Telegram, you're going to get invited into other Telegrams that look like Kamino, and they will be scams. So just make sure you're in the right one. It's pretty obvious. It has a number of users. It's pretty obvious it's the right one. You can find Tooth Fairy, you can find Juice Nero, and the other team members that are actually in there, the same people that are in Discord. So throughout the next 3 months, we'll be having open discussions about Kamino and its role in the Kamino ecosystem. If you want to be involved, get into Telegram. So that is the tweet thread in the gist of it. And then we've got a doc here. I'm not necessarily going to go through everything here because that's a little bit too much, but I will show you my tutorial account here, or one of the wallets. So this is the portfolio. This is nothing too extravagant. Dashboard, just under $2,000. And we've got my points at about 150,000. So if we click up here, we can click View Points Hub. Now at the moment, if we look over here, you'll see that referral is coming soon. So this is where I expect to hopefully earn some of my points because I don't have a lot of crypto to put into these platforms yet. And at the same time, I spend a lot of time trying to educate people, so it's nice to get a referral bonus when this goes out. So you can see here I am, this wallet rank is 11,234. So it's not doing terribly well compared to this person here. Let's see if we can click on this person. Well, yeah, I'm not going to be able to compete with 1.27 million. That's pretty crazy. Nevertheless, that's all good. But what would be good is, as you can see this person and their kind of dashboard, you could have a look and see what positions they're in to work out what's working out for them. At the moment, we can see the net value, total collateral, total debt. It's taking a little bit of time to load, but you do have that ability to kind of not necessarily copy trade someone, but to see what they're doing. We'll just go back though and we'll have a look. So exactly the right approach to try and get more points is pretty simple. Just use the dEPs that you want to use and use them more heavily. Try and keep your loan health really, really safe. Try and keep your loan health really, really safe. That's my number one pick. It's very obvious. Nothing, of course, is going to be financial advice. Now, we have to understand that DeFi does have more risks than just staking your SOL with validator.com, which I do encourage you to do, or just by holding a token in general. However, DeFi is part of this new system that's going to replace legacy systems. It's not all perfect though, and we'll go over that at the end. But what we want to see is we want to see this being in the green, because if we have a look at our loan dashboard, we can see that, well, it's not brilliant at the moment, to be honest. If we have a look at our loan dashboard, it will give us our position overview, so net value, total supplies, total borrowers. One thing that I typically like to do is get a little bit of SOL, deposit it in, borrow some USDC, and then go across and swap that into SOL, and then come back and then put that SOL in to try and leverage up. Now, I need to stay safe because SOL could definitely dip down considerably. I mean, it's gone from like $20 to $100 in 3 months or less, something like that. And, there are some traders out there calling for SOL to go down to $30, $40. Whether or not it happens, I personally don't think it will. But for SOL to go to $75 or $80, I could definitely see that that's a possibility. One thing we've got down here is we have a risk simulator. So if we click on this, we can work out what would happen if we had a market movement. So if the market moved positively like this, if it goes up, one thing we've got is this simulate market slider. So right now, green is good. If the token price or if the market goes up, we know that USDC is a stablecoin, so we're going to see this improve. This risk is going to go down here. So if we have a 20% increase in the value of SOL, it's less risky. If it goes to 50, it's even better. Then all of a sudden, we've got a small amount of current LTV, loan to value ratio, whereas we don't get liquidated until 75. However, the reverse is, of course, the reverse. If we get a 20% drawdown, then we're using half our LTV. I'm still safe though. If we go much further, I'm in orange territory. And then if we keep on going further, I will get into red. And then at this max LTV, that's where it's very, very risky. And then we can actually be liquidated. And our net value is this, total supplied, total debt, and then I'm just basically destroyed. So this is a really good tool to use. Now let's just go back to our portfolio as well. At the moment, things have not been performing terribly, terribly well. I know I need to do a more in-depth video on Pyth and SOL because I did a decent video on this. But one great thing is we can see how this has kind of worked if we go to analytics. And I mean, early on, there was so much trading volume. Early on, there was just so much trading volume. Now, if you just sold all your Pyth into SOL and hodled that, you would have outperformed everything. If you just hodled both Pyth and SOL, you would be on 22%. This is over 90 days. So, well, not really 90 days, but since the beginning. We could change this to, I guess, 30 days. But you can see that the Kamino strategy has been performing well. It hasn't been performing well as in 10,000% APY, but it did have a nice, quick, juicy kind of jump, and then things kind of tapered off. Nevertheless, that is the Pyth and SOL liquidity, and that's not too bad, to be perfectly honest. Go back to our portfolio here. Where it's not brilliant is more so with SOL and USDC. I don't have it in this wallet, so I'll show it to you in a second. Also, just a reminder, if you're in Coco and Nano, which are the tokens from Play the Heist, then you need to remove your liquidity because the Coco token will be frozen and then you'll be airdropped in the future their Season 3 token. So I'll do that in a minute off camera. But if we go up and have a look at liquidity, we'll find Sol and USDC. It should be under our blue chips here, just Sol and USDC. We'll see that this actually hasn't outperformed. This has been very, very average, which is not a criticism of Kamino. Kamino taps into Radium or they tap into Orca. And Orca and Radium, they're not actually terribly efficient with markets. So let's have a look at 90 days. So if you just hodled the pair, you're basically the same risk. This is 90 days. We could do it even shorter, to be honest. If you just held Sol, you would be up more. If you hodled both, you'd be up more than the Kamino strategy. We could probably go out to 6 months and would probably be, unfortunately, surprised at how bad a decision it was to farm. Not crazy, but you can basically see, I mean, obviously the Sol hodl was the best thing. If we had $1,000 worth of Sol, we hodled it. If we split it into USDC and Sol, then it would be up 61%. And the Kamino strategy actually underperformed. So this is one of the unfortunate things when you see, like if we had a position here, we would see our value and our fees earned, but our fees earned that then go into the protocol still did not outperform the liquidity pools. And this is just the nature of impermanent loss and things that I don't quite understand with, Radium and Orca. Now there should be some that have improved a little bit, such as Sol and Sol, because these should be fairly kind of standard. So we'll have a quick look at the analytics for 30 days. I know we're just really wanting to understand the point system, but at the same time, in order to get more points, we have to take more risk. We don't want to have to take risks in things that have not been performing well. And this is not currently loading. We'll just quickly give it a minute, refresh, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so this actually loaded fine. It didn't take very long. So this is over 30 days, and you can see that the Kamino strategy is slightly up. We wouldn't be expecting anything crazy. This is only 30 days. We could zoom out to 90, although I don't know how long Sol's been there. We can see it's still accumulating a small amount, and it's outperforming just a Sol hodl, and it's outperforming a Sol hodl. So we're getting that small boost. Nothing crazy, but then this also qualifies for a JTO incentive, I think. Yeah, so you also get JTO incentive if you lock up the liquidity. So not necessarily this vault, but one of the vaults. So something like this, I would say would be a smarter move. Of course, there are risks. However, there are some that just have not done well. So I had some money in USDC and USDH, and it just did not perform well. I was just losing money. Here I am losing money. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. My assumption is, and I haven't done any research, but USDH is Hubble stablecoin. There clearly doesn't seem to be like a lot of market desire for this token. People want to stick in USDC or USDT. And so for some reason, this is not working. So yeah, it's just been losing money. So I'm going to withdraw out of that because, it's gone out of the trading range. It hasn't worked, which is, keeping the funds as safe as possible. But then at the same time, if we have a look at the TVL, I think we can see it somewhere. So here we can see it's basically pretty much all USDH and very little USDC. So it means no one's actually trading in or out of this pool, and all we've got is just some sort of price difference and we're losing money on it. So some things are not going to go well and some things will. If I was to start right now and if I had a little bit of capital, of course, I would probably be using borrow and lend, and I would be moving away from MarginFi. Nothing against MarginFi. MarginFi may really outperform, but I don't love it, and I would prefer to use Kamino. And then I think a little bit of liquidity in the pairs that you're interested in, such as Sol and Sol. This one, maybe a little bit in USDT, USDC, if you want that kind of more relaxed approach. You can go into whatever you like, of course, but nothing's doing terribly well. There is, of course, a decent amount of impermanent loss. JLP and USDH, this would also do pretty well. I don't think this is going to be too bad in terms of impermanent loss, but I could be mistaken. Let's have a look at analytics quickly. At the moment, I mean, this is brand new and it's been doing slightly better. So this is a bit of a no-brainer. Now I'll show you one more thing. This is from June. So these are basically analytics. We can see Phoenix, and I've just recently covered Phoenix. So Phoenix has outperformed liquidity pools such as Orca. Now this is a little bit technical for me, but long story short, at these high prices, liquidity pools are not doing well. They're not capital efficient. They're not working well. So when it comes to Sol and USDC, I'm going to be pulling out my liquidity. And Phoenix itself has been outperforming when it comes to this. But that is an overview of Kamino points. I've done plenty of things on Kamino, so go watch those videos if you want to get started and you haven't already done so. Let me know your thoughts below, stay curious, and we'll catch you in the next video.